Mr. Minister, the military embargo remains in place on Burma, but you have decided to lift other sanctions against that regime. Some wonder whether it's too early, that the election hasn't been held. The military junta has not really shown its hand.
Well, this is always going to be a difficult judgment, and I respect the views of others. There was an election of sorts in Burma about a year ago. We saw the formation for the first so-called civilian government. Many people were sceptical about it initially. I formed the judgment, having had some discussions with Aung San Suu Kyi, that it was smart and wise to go in and meet the new government, and I did that in June last year. I think I was probably the first Western foreign minister to go in. I spoke with President Thein Sein at some length, formed the judgment that they were serious about doing something on political reform, and I've sought to convey that message to our friends, partners and allies around the world. Sure, the military is still very strong, but what we have seen is the release now of a large number of political prisoners, including a new batch, I believe, out today. We've seen the regularisation of electoral laws. Aung San Suu Kyi will now be contesting parliamentary elections in one of 48 seats up for a vote on the 1st of April. Frankly, none of these things were seen as within the remote realms of possibility even 6 to 12 months ago. So we've got to encourage the civilian government in what it's doing, because we don't want to send a message to the Burmese military that all this is in vain.
Aung San Suu Kyi, is she confident that things are going ahead? Does she want to once again return to a leadership role there? What is her outlook on the situation in her country?
Well, I never like to speak reflecting the views of another person, I, like Hillary Clinton, whose diplomacy, by the way, on Burma I respect and admire, and the US Secretary of State and I talk about these questions quite often. I don't like talking about the views of Aung San Suu Kyi in her absence. She can speak for herself. But let me say this. We in Australia have never taken steps forward unless we have been in very close collaborative contact with her and other leaders of the democratic movement in Burma. Therefore, we think we've got it about right, calibrating our responses. It's always going to be a challenge of 2 steps forward and sometimes 1 step back. But against where we've been with Burma for decades, this is a bright time of real opportunity. We've got to maximise the chances of diplomacy working, give the Burmese people a chance, 50 million people, worst living standards in Asia. We in Australia are their second largest aid partners. Give them a chance for a decent future, and you never know your luck. We might actually come through this and welcome Burma back into the community of democracies.